The Santa Clara Chorale was formed in 1962. They are popular in the Bay Area and have provided singers and audiences alike the opportunity to experience great classical and popular music. The chorale also has a rich history of touring internationally, with performances in England, Israel, Poland, Russia, Austria, Italy, and Argentina. Their director is Scott Hannah Weir, who holds a doctorate degree in chorale conducting. He is a charismatic, talented leader who is lots of fun to work with. My daughter Debbie sings with the Santa Clara Chorale, and earlier this year she called to ask if I would like to audition to sing with them as they had a trip planned to perform at Carnegie Hall in New York City. So for the next 2 months, I learned what it takes to get to Carnegie Hall. It's called practice, practice, practice. The job was made easier because the chorale sent us practice tapes with all the parts. I rehearsed both tenor and first bass parts while doing the dishes, in the shower, or wherever. On Friday, May 22nd, my good friend Verna Dow and I flew into Newark, and from there took a cab into Times Square. The hotel we stayed was the Sheraton, New York, and was just a few blocks from Times Square. Of course, our first stop was in the bar to welcome everyone to the Big Apple. The following morning, we went to our first rehearsal in the hotel, and there we met our new director, Jerry Benson, a doctor of music education. We would be 130 voices singing with adult and youth choirs from Princeton, Florida, New York, and Georgia. Between rehearsals, we took advantage of being near Times Square and took in a few Broadway plays. Some of us saw Hadestown, the musical, Funny Girl, and Camelot. This was the first time that I had ever been to Lincoln Center, and it's quite an impressive venue. We took a cab to see the World Trade Center Memorial. We passed this miniature New York City facade that circled the construction site of a new building. On the way, we saw this display called a Wildlife for Wildlife. They are all endangered species, and everybody took a ride. Oculus Building was designed to show New York City's strength and resilience after the 9/11 attack. It resembles a dove leaving a child's hands. The focal points of the memorial are two pools, each nearly an acre in size, that sit in the footprints of the former North and South Towers. The pools contain the largest man-made waterfall in North America, each falling 30 feet into a square basin. From there, the water in each pool drops another 20 feet and disappears into a smaller central void. According to the architect, the pools represent, quote, absence made visible, unquote. Although water flows into the voids, they can never be filled. The sound of the cascading water makes the pools a place of tranquility and contemplation. This massive structure, called the One World Trade Center, is the main building of the rebuilt World Trade Center complex. It was completed 11 years after the 9/11 attack, and it's the tallest building in the United States. One afternoon, Verna and I decided to explore Manhattan. Our first visit was to Rockefeller Center. You may have seen this plaza on TV, as it's normally covered with ice with skaters. We went to the top of Rockefeller Center, which is adjacent to the skating area, and had a grand view of the Manhattan skyline. The tower is 850 feet tall. We had a nice view of the skyline on a clear day. Pedicabs are a fun and easy way to get around the city. We took one back to the Sheraton Hotel from our visit to Rockefeller Center. You might enjoy this virtual ride with us. Since we were staying only a few blocks from Times Square, we went down one night to look around, take in all the lights, noise, and excitement. Kind of fun. At last, the big day arrived. The event that we had been practicing and rehearsing for over the past several months was finally here. We got to Carnegie Hall a couple of hours early, as we had to find a way around this huge building and do a rehearsal with the orchestra before our performance. While there, we learned that Carnegie Hall was built between 1889 and 1891 as the venue for the New York City Philharmonic. It was owned by the Carnegie family for many years and is now a New York City landmark. Here is a portion of our concert. It was drizzling the next morning, but since Central Park was only 6 blocks from our hotel, we decided to go. We took a pedicab, and I'm glad we did, because it was a nice way to visit the park. Our pedicab driver was friendly and funny, and we enjoyed the trip with him. We learned from him that almost all the buildings around Central Park are apartments, many new high-rises, some going for over $30,000 a month. He showed us the Bethesda Fountain, the Tavern on the Green, and the Engagement Bridge. You must get down on your knee and propose to your girlfriend there. As you may know, John Lennon was murdered just a block away from Central Park. His wife Yoko Ono prepared and dedicated strawberry fields within the park in his honor. We decided to take a boat ride around Manhattan Island on our last day in New York City. We were very fortunate to have clear weather, as during the previous week, the East Coast had been shrouded in lots of smoke from the forest fires in Canada. So we took a cab to catch a ferry on the Lower West Side and enjoyed some beautiful waterfront sights along the way. The highlight of our trip was getting close to the beautiful Statue of Liberty on a clear day. We were reminded that it was dedicated in 1886. As you may recall, it was a gift from the people of France. "21 bridges and 15 tunnels connect the island of Manhattan to New Jersey and other cities in New York State. And yes, we went under all 21 bridges and over all 15 tunnels. Toward the end of our tour, we passed this 35-story apartment house called Via 57 West. It is 35 stories tall and designed by a Danish architect. We also passed the aircraft carrier Intrepid and the supersonic Concorde airplane. On our flight home, we reminisced about the fun and exciting times we had in New York City. And here we are on our final approach to San Francisco, going home.